If I use the decomposed material, the original building will decompose or degrade fast, right? That's why I'm using inorganic materials or non-metallic materials. Non-metallic, why I am using non-metallic materials? This is for the reason because if I use the metals inside it, it would had reaction with different types of material which I will be using in construction. Metals has the property of reacting things, right? That's why non-metallic materials, non-organic materials, a homogeneous mixture of clay, I can say clay. The bricks are made up of clay, cement or any materials like fly ash also. You know fly ash? Fly ash is the byproduct of a coal industry. कोयले की फैक्ट्री से जो आपको मिलता है बाई प्रोडक्ट या रेसिड्यू लाइक एश, जो उसकी राख रहती है, दैट इज कॉल्ड फ्लाई एश, विच आर बीइंग यूज्ड इन दिस टुडे डे लाइफ in a huge purpose for making bricks, for making cement or everything likewise, right? So bricks are of many types, but we are reading here only the clay bricks, means red bricks, which we are looking as in simply in general construction. So I can say it is made up of clay, homogeneous mixture in a cuboidal shape. Above that there is a logo, and the materials used in it are non-metallic and inorganic. Okay. Now, what is this logo means? This logo, obviously, every brand, every company has its logo. Like Runta has itself a logo in your T-shirt. Like here is also something in logo, written in short form, XYZ, SPJ, ABC, right? Right? This logo in the construction field known as frog, right? This construction, in construction we call it as frog, not logo. It's not logo, not impression, it's called frog. The frog is the animal which is found basically in rainy days, amphibians, right? Now this frog is nothing but the logo. This frog has two uses. Number one, it shows the company name, or it gives a proper binding. Why I can say proper binding? Because think for a little, like if there is a surface which is plain, if I used to stick anything in that plain surface, it may be possible that if there will be any load in the upper surface, there will be a friction or there will be a movement in the plain surface. But if there is a hollow mark, or there is a suppose some depreciation is there, if I fill that with the upper surface, what will happen? It has a grip to not to move or not to repeat. Here is a good example. You are having a beds in your home. That bed corners are somewhat like this. There is a cave inside this, and here is a like this type of impressions or this type of structures are there. We connect the bed corners like this. There is some pointed one and here is one some depth. We connect it with like this. For the reason we can connect it with a glue or something, but why we are using the glue like this structure? Because it has a grip proper so that it can't move by any load. Same concept is used here. If we are using the mixture of mortar, you know mortar, हिंदी में मसाला बोलते हैं उसको, जो कंस्ट्रक्शन साइट पे यूज करते हैं वॉल्स बनाने के लिए, फॉर मेकिंग वॉल्स वी आर called it as masala or mortar. That mortar makes a proper grip to create a wall in that logo. That's why the use of logo is of two purpose, for showing the brand name or company name, so that you can use that logo, brand or company bricks in next time, or for the binding purpose, for better binding purpose. This is 2 marks question. I can say it is the most common question for 2 marks. If there will be a abbreviation for 2 marks, this is the continuous question coming in the exam. The two uses and what is the frog. If they are asking what is the frog, you must need the definition, you need to write the definition, you need to draw the diagram, and you need to write the uses. 2. These three things you need to explain it in the frog, right? This is the basic definition and structure of a brick. Now there will be color of a brick, weight of a brick, quality of a brick, everything will be there, but I am skipping this theory purpose, this theory section, for the reason if there will be lab in the next class, so that you have some of the portion of the lab in your mind, so that I will be explaining you if anything in the lab you have to understand those things. Now I am directly skipping to the topic, the testing of bricks. Obviously if you are capturing or adopting or taking that brick for a reason, for making construction, you need to test it, that how is the quality of the brick. What are the testing of a brick? I can say, what are the testing of a bricks? Maybe there are certain tests. Look at here. Number one is absorption test. You need to concentrately listen it. You will be automatically by heart all things. Is there is anything which is in doubt? The topic frog. Any of the student having doubt in frog? What is frog? What is the use of it? How it looks like? No? Okay. Look at the frog very carefully. I am writing here S, P and J. What it symbolizes, I'll ask you in the last of the class. It is a company name obviously. Why I had used here SPJ? Why not ABC? Why not XYZ? Why not anything? Why I had used SPJ? I'll ask you in the last of the class. Think it. Okay? Now coming to the point, testing on the bricks. First is your absorption test. You have seen many times when you are in a construction site, every bricks are being wetted out with the water before using it, for the purpose that they absorb water at what that much they wanted to absorb, so that they can't absorb water from the mortar. Mortar means the masala or the mixture which we are adding to make a wall. They can't absorb that water. They can absorb, but we need not to absorb that water from the mortar. For the reason, if we absorb the water from the mortar, what happens? The whole structure will be dried out fast, and if it will be dried out fast, it will not give the better strength. So we need to wet out the bricks very well and then use in construction, so that it doesn't take moisture from the mortar, right? That's why we are using the absorption test for bricks. Why absorption test? If your brick is absorbing more water, what will happen? Even you are wetting out the bricks, then also it absorbs the water more. Then what will happen? Your structure will get failed, right? So the absorption test is required for that purpose. You have the criteria of absorption. You have the criteria of absorption like 20 to 15% absorption should be there in the brick. 20 to 15% of dry weight of brick. If there is a weight of a brick like 3 to 3.5 kg, you need to find that the absorption test should not exceed the 20 to 15% of that 3 to 3.5 kg, right? What will be the dry weight of the brick? That should have the 15 to 20% of water absorption only, according to the weight of the brick. Whatever will be the weight, if it's of 5 kg, 6 kg, whatever, your absorption should be between 20 to 15% only, right? Next is your compressive strength test. Have you ever listened compressive strength? What is compressive strength test? Compressive strength, compressive means compression, the pressure from which is acting inwards, that is compression. Strength means, you know, the bearing capacity, the resistance capacity of the load, that is called strength, right? So compressive strength test means there will be a compression load in the brick, and we need to check the strength of the brick, that how much load it can resist, so that by testing we can justify or we can know the load bearing capacity of that brick. And likewise we are constructing the structures. We know that what is the load of this structure and what we need to give it. If there is a load exceeding the limit, what will happen? The structure is failed. You have seen every news that this bridge is getting failed, ये पुल टूट गया, ये बांध टूट गया, for the reason the load exceeding its limit. So we need to test the compressive strength of bricks. These two testing are the basic test of bricks, which requires machine and instruments. Rest all you can test it in physical purpose, directly here in the class only. Okay, what are this? Number third is hardness. How you can test the hardness of a brick? Take a brick, especially girls, those who are having long nails, right? Scratch it on the brick. If there will be any impression on the brick, then the brick is not hard, right? If there will be no impression on the brick by a fingernail scratch, then that brick will be hard. So it is a simple test of brick hardness. Okay, boys can also do, boys भी रखते हैं आजकल बड़े nails. Now what is next? After hardness there will be, next is, anybody can guess what is the next? Acha, you have heard it single time, that's why you are now not able to guess it. Soundness test. Now you're thinking, what is soundness? Soundness, something like listening music or like something like that. Okay, what is soundness? Take two bricks, similar bricks, take two similar bricks, strike it out. In a certain condition, strike it out. There will be breaking of bricks, may be possible, or there will be a ringing sound, a breaking sound. That breaking sound is called as, in technical terms, ringing sound. We called it as a ringing sound. If there will be a clear breaking sound or ringing sound, we can call it as the soundness test. If it doesn't give a ringing sound or clear breaking sound, your brick will be of bad quality. Your brick should be have a good quality if and only if the soundness of the brick when you are striking is a clear ringing sound. एक बजने की आवाज आएगी, पर वो बजने की आवाज practically is not possible because striking sound doesn't ringing. That bricks are of brittle material, how it will ring? Not possible. If it is of metal, then it is possible that we are striking it, it gives a ringing sound. But it is a brittle material, how it rings? It will not ring, but we called it as a ringing sound. Okay, that is your soundness test. You can do it in your class also. Next is your, if you are dropping a brick from 1 meter height in any area or any plane, from 1 meter height you are dropping a brick, your brick should not break. Your brick should not break in any cost, even though your surface is plain, rough or anything. Dropping from 1 meter doesn't breaks your brick. Doesn't break bricks. Right? Now, what is next? Next is your structure. Structure test is also very important. You can do it by yourself. Break the brick. Look at the inner structure. Have you ever heard honeycomb structure? What is honeycomb structure? This is a honeycomb. That means where honey bees are living, their home. They are having some pores inside their houses. That structure is known as honeycomb structure. If your structure of the brick having too many pores, that is honeycomb structure. But that is not good for us, because more the voids, more will be the absorption. Right? More the voids, more will be the absorption. If more will be the absorption, more will be the transparency. Sound insulation will be less. कहाँ थे बेटा आप लोग? For the reason? कहाँ थी मैं? More will be the voids, more will be the absorption, more will be the absorption, more will be the transparency. Transparency of sound, transparency of water and everything. We need to create the things insulated. That's why we are using the insulated materials for the rooms. Sometimes your OD is insulated. You know, there are some tiles use of white dot dot that are insulated materials. But we can't expect this from the structure of a brick. Brick has many pores, but we need not to include so many pores in the bricks. It will also reduce the strength, right? Compare it. If you are having a homogeneous compact structure or a void structure, who will give the more strength? The compact homogeneous structure, obviously. That's why we need to decrease this process and have the structure that is less voids, compacted and homogeneous, right? The structure test is be done by your eyes only. What is seventh? Seventh is your presence of soluble salt. What is soluble salt? Have you ever seen the surface where water is being dried out or evaporated? There is a residue of white material that is called salt, right? Example है, live example. When you are sweated out your clothes, when it is being dried out, there is a white mark of salt. That is your salt presence. Similarly, here is the presence of salt is also there in bricks. When the bricks are dipped out in a sea water or in a salted water, when the moisture is being dried out or evaporated, the salt presence or a salt layer is there in the brick. We need not to capture that brick for construction, because if there will be salt content in the structure or a bricks, the salt will deteriorate or disintegrate the structure fast. Yes or no? The salt has the property to disintegrate or deteriorate the buildings or having the moisture property in the building. So we need not to have this presence of salt in the bricks. This is all the naked eyed test which you can see perform physically anywhere, everywhere, right? These two only requires the machinery. Now what is next? Only single one is left, that is of very general, that is shape and size. Shape and size, you can also see your eyes, by your eyes, that what is the shape, structure, what are the edges, what are the corners, how it looks, like that. These are the simple qualities or test of a brick. Now these are simple, you need not to explain it once again. Anybody wants explanation one more time or having doubt in this from 3 to 8 point? Need anything, one more explanation? If you are need of any explanation or anything, you can record, you can use that video for your purpose, rewind forward or whatever you can do. Now we are coming to these two process. These two are major test process coming for 8 marks in the exam. I am telling you, this is two more important question coming for 8 marks in the exam. You have the topic in the syllabus, test on brick, water absorption test and compressive strength test. By name you can find it out in your syllabus. For that 2 points or that 2 topics, you need to study these all, and these two will be explained further more in detail. Now selecting one, this absorption test. What is absorption test? What happens when you do absorption test? You need to require only a instrument that is called oven. You know oven? What's the work of it? Oven dried out or increase the temperature inside the material, reduces moisture, increase the temperature, right? What is the use of oven? Let us take first test, absorption test. Absorption test is of 2 types. Number 1 is 24-hour cold water test, and number 2 is 5-hour boiling water test. Anybody knows this? Heard it anytime, anywhere? कहीं सुना है इसको? कहाँ से सुनोगे? पहली बार पढ़ रहे हो? Okay. Whenever you are writing any step or anything in a process or performing any process or procedure, I will suggest you to write it like step 1, step 2, step 3, step 4. or learn or by heart the things like step 1, step 2, step 3, step 4, so that it will be easier for you. In many books there are many process, 7 to 8 points, 10 to 11 points, but I'll be teaching you only 5 to 4 points, right? The gist of it. Listen, dry out the bricks at a temperature of 105 degree to 115 degree centigrade, right? Keep in your mind, don't need not to write. If you want you can, but think it or understand it or remember it in your mind. First you have to dry out the bricks in 105 to 115 degree centigrade. Now next what need to do, you need to cool it at room temperature. What is room temperature? 25 degree, but here I am taking 27 degree plus minus 2 degree. According to the area, according to the temperature, there will be plus 2 ऊपर नीचे. ठीक? Now, weight the brick. Class, listen it carefully. I need not to repeat this again. If you are not understanding, I will repeat it again. But if you are not listening or hearing here correctly, what will happen? What will happen? You are not able to ask any doubt. That's why listen it. I will not take class more than 25 to 30 minutes. In my whole class of 50 minutes class, I'll be talking with you, I'll be enjoying with you, I'll be discussing anything with you, but I will be making you teach only to 25 to 30 minutes. In that duration, I'll be make you learn, make you understand and everything. So listen it carefully whenever. This is the last topic of this class. Okay. Weight of the brick that I will be taking after the drying of oven, that will be mark as M1, right? Next is your step 4. Immerse. What is the means of immerse? Dubki marna. Immerse brick in water for 24 hours at 27 degree centigrade plus minus 2 degree above and below. Step 5, pat dry and keep out. Step 6 is the last. Weight the brick, take it as M2. Now, what is the step? First, you need to dry out 105 degree to 115 degree. Remember this, you can't change this. Okay, these values you can't be changed. This can't be changed. Next is your step 2, that is cool it at room temperature. You need not to keep it in a freezer or fridge or any area, any cold area. Keep it in room temperature. This is weight of the brick M1. Will you waiting with the anything? Step 4. Step 4 is immerse that brick in 24 hours for 27 degree centigrade or plus minus 2 according to the area. Next, step 5, take out that bricks and pat dry. What is pat dry? This is pat dry. Need not to rub it. Okay, you need to simple pat dry the surface of the bricks and weight it as M2. Simple procedure, end of the procedure. Nothing is there. Any doubt? Similarly, come to this point. This is step 1, step 2 and step 3 will be same. Here also. What will be the step 4? Step 4 will be dip the brick in water and boil 5 hours. Step 5, cool the bricks at room temperature. I am not writing here 27 degree like, okay, you need to understand it by your room temperature is 27 or 25 degree plus minus 2 above and below. I am just writing here, cool it the bricks in room temperature. It will take 16 to 18 hours for proper cooling. Then step 6 is weight the brick, mark it as M2. There are only two weights, M1 and M2. M1 is the dry out weight, M2 is the wetted weight. Okay, here also and there also. Is there any doubt in the procedure or steps? No? Now, what we need to do? We are having two values, M1 and M2. We need to find the absorption. Are you able to find the absorption by these two values? Obviously, but you are not thinking it. May I rub this? Okay. Now, according to the name, the test will be performed. Like if 24-hour cold water test, that means you need to dip it for 24 hours. If there is 5-hour boiling water test, that means you need to boil it for 5 hours, right? Everybody has understood these things, but nobody has asked me the doubts. Here is a hole in the procedure. In step 1, there is a hole that I had written here 105 to 115 degrees centigrade. Nobody had asked me, ma'am, how much time? How much time? When you are performing it, you will be asking like that, na, ma'am, how much time we need to keep it in the oven? I had set only the temperature, but not set the time. This is the doubt. This should be the doubt of yours. Okay? If you are keeping it in 105 to 115 degrees centigrade, you will be keep it 5 to 10 minutes, 2 to 3 minutes. Not, I would not suggest less than 5 minutes, but not more than 10 minutes. Because if there will be more drying, what will happen? The brick will be overburned. Oven work is to left out or keep out the moisture. What it will be doing? It will be overburn the bricks and it will be brittle in the face. So we need to just left out the moisture. For that purpose, we need to keep it for 5 minutes, 8 minutes, 7 minutes, like this. If the bricks are in dry state, if you are keeping it in dry state, you need to dry it in oven also. In that case, you need to do it for 2 to 3 minutes only. Okay, if the bricks are of dry state. According to the state of a brick, you have to keep it not more than 10 minutes. That's why I am not mentioned here the time. Depends on the brick, you will be keeping it with your common sense, but not for more times. Okay, we are assuming here that if it being shown to 105 to 115 degree, that means for 1 to 2 minutes, it's a minimum time, 1 to 2 minutes, the brick is dried out from the inner side. We are assuming it. Then we are performing the next steps. Okay, need not to mention the time here. In any of the book, there is no mention of time there. This is the only reason. Okay, now what's the next hole? In this step, in the 5-hour boiling step, here I am writing in fourth step that we need to dip it the brick in a water and start boiling for 5 hours. Why not keeping the brick in boiling water? There are two differences. If we are keeping the bricks in water and start the flame for boiling, that means at certain temperature rise, the bricks are getting boiled. But there is a difference if I am dipping the brick in a boiling water. Is there is difference or same? Both will be the same result. If in an increasing continuous process, the boiling will be done to a brick, what happens? The water absorption or the maximum output will be good. But if you are doing in a direct boiling process, what will happen? There is a possibility that for a certain temperature variations, the brick may cause cracks, or the brick may absorb water more or absorb water less. It may be possible. That's why we are dipping the brick in a water and start the flame at a continuous process. It will be boiling for 5 hours. Okay, these are the two loopholes, but nobody had asked me. Okay, left it. So these we are having only M1 and M2. Now you are not getting how to find the absorption. You will be getting it now. Dry weight of brick. I will not do anything. You will only think it and find out. This is the dry weight, this is the wet weight, right? What will be the formula of water absorption? If I would need to find the percentage of water by these two values, can I? This is M2 minus M1, that means content of water upon M1, that means original weight. Can this be a formula for water absorption? कितना पानी उसमें added है? We can find out by this formula. This is the only formula. After the step 6, you need to write it out. That is your absorption test. Sorry, absorption value. Yeah, absorption percentage of the bricks. Okay, these two formulas both for same for 24 hours and 5 hours. You need to write the same formula. Abbreviations are same, only the difference are in procedures. M2 minus M1 upon M1. This is simple. You can understand here the percentage of or the content of water, that is your been calculated by M2 minus M1. जितना पानी उसने absorb किया upon M1 means the dry weight and the percentage of water. Okay. Is there any tough thing in this process? Very easy. Now find it in books. It will be more tougher for everybody. In books, it is given for 10 to 11 points in many processes. If you want to read that book, you can see it just by turning the pages, or if you don't want, you can have my notes. My notes are there. I'll be giving you after completion of my unit. Okay, everything is mentioned properly, step by step. This formulas, everything. I only sorry. My only process or purpose for the explanation and not able to or not allow you to write in the class is because of the reason you have the whole concentration or proper attention to this blackboard only. If I am explaining something, you will be by heart that. If you are having the process of writing in your copies, there is some certain distance or difference, or there will be a barrier for understanding. That's why I am saying need not to write anything, just learn it. Is any student here in the class not understand anything or lacking for understanding anything or not learn these things? Is there any student here? Those who are entered late, I am asking to them also. Those who are entered late, is any student here who is not understanding anything or lacking for something? Everything is by heart to everybody. कुछ याद करने की ज़रूरत है किसी को? घर जाके मत करना. बेसिक सिविल घर जाके कोई नहीं पढ़ेगा. ठीक, जो पढ़ोगे यही पढ़ोगे, आधे घंटे में पढ़ोगे. आज का कोटा खत्म आपका. आज जितना पढ़ना था, जितना आपको अंडरस्टैंड करना था, you had understood or studied in the class only. Okay, at the next class you just need to revise it in your mind. While you are at home, just revise it in your mind. Need not to do anything. Okay, just revise it. At next class I'll be make you understand or learn the next topic or other topic same in the same procedure. Okay, what's the attendance or strength of the class today?